Also, I just got stung by a bee. A lot of people doing this are probably seeing and watching a lot of channels and thinking like, are they making the right choice in life? Are they wasting time? Are they losing more than they are gaining? Is it all worth it? And along the way, I saw like fire trucks and a lot of sirens. There's a big fire. Once I got there, they opened the door and their dog also jumped out, and I was almost like bitten by a dog. Hey everyone, it's me again, and this is Journey Ride Along channel. Today I'm gonna do an accept every order on DoorDash challenge on the weekend. Today is Sunday and I already did one order and a total I made $15, but this is an example of an order that you should not take. The offer was $13 to go 8.7 miles, and the customer said he accidentally ordered at the wrong Dave's Chicken location and he's sorry for the wrong drive and he wanted to tip extra. So hey, it sounds good. Sometimes $10 do pop up on the tips. I'm seeing young kids out here doing deliveries, wearing red. He's probably on DoorDash as well. A lot of college students are out here in the summer. That's why it's kind of like slower for a lot of people, because a lot of people are doing it, is what they're saying, or a lot of people are traveling. So this is why my first order is an example of an order you shouldn't take, but we're doing this challenge. It's for content, and it's for content, and I want to make money as well. So we get money and there's content, and we get an example of what it's like to actually accept every order on DoorDash today. I'm doing this from 1 to 8 p.m. today. Right now it's 2 p.m. I actually have a pickup right now. So the first one, when the customer was like, oh, he's sorry for the long drive, I put on the mileage tracker. It's told me 8.7 miles for like $13, right? So, and good example of a lot of people saying like, oh, you should take $2 per mile is a good example of like how much miles you get, and the dollar per miles is like it's a $2 per 1 mile order is a good one, they say. I put on my mileage tracker, and to drive there to the customer's house and get back, I actually drove 17 miles, and the total I made $15. So the mileage was more than the money I was getting. So that's why I'm saying that one wasn't a good one, and I kind of just I took it because we're doing a challenge here, and it was the first order. I was hyped, I wanted to take it. The customer actually tipped more, was $2, but we don't know the actual fee they're paying. They're probably paying a lot already, and at least they're nice to say they will tip more. So now I have another order. It's also a $13 one, but for a 3.9 miles, and to pick up 2 orders, Dave's Chicken and Wingstop, and I believe it's probably for 2 different people. So let's go do this delivery. Okay guys, so I just dropped off the 4th order. So right now I picked up Dave's Hot Chicken, and then I went to pick up Wingstop that I told you it was a $13 offer for about 4 miles, so much less than the first order, even though they tipped me additionally because I drove far. The customer said so himself. I didn't even know that the customer chooses location of the restaurant themselves. At first I thought that the platform like DoorDash would pick a location nearest to the customer's restaurant and then just like ping it to the restaurant and ping it to the driver and does that all for you. But I guess the customer chooses the location that's nearest to them. So maybe that's the reason why sometimes it doesn't make sense to you why they would order something from another city. Like once I dropped off Waba Grill from like one city all the way to Los Angeles. I'm like, isn't there a Waba Grill in Los Angeles? Because I didn't really realize it. Sometimes, you know, sometimes it's like, oh, like 4 miles, but because you're in the city like nearby, so it came all the way like 15 minutes more or something to another city. So at this point I made $34.75 for 4 delivery, driving 25 miles. So it's looking a little better, but I have been watching some videos where, you know, they talk about the actual cost, like actually realizing the actual cost of what you're losing, then you're gaining doing this. And even though you want to realize it, like I had a talk with a friend as well, like you want to realize it, but it doesn't mean you have to quit doing it. But there are some costs and that you have to account for. I know a lot of drivers are already like acknowledging about this, and also kind of like you know, sometimes it's like you are already out here doing this, and some people has to, they've got bills to pay, stomachs to feed, and some people already kind of like know, like, you know, to reject the bad miles one, the bad offers one, and choose to cherry pick instead and work smart rather than, you know, losing more than gaining, because after all, you are an independent contractor. There are many benefits, like, I don't know, you gotta reach a certain amount of deliveries to get these like stipends or healthcare. I guess we'll talk about that later. I'm no pro myself, but I just started as well. Wanted to share my experience and everything. Okay, so when I got that Dave's hot chicken, right, that offer for $13 and about 4 miles to 2 different people, the Dave's hot chicken I got first, it was there already. I had to walk a little bit. It's in the same plaza. I walked a little bit to Wingstop, and the thing with that is Wingstop's order was not ready yet, so Dave's hot chicken had to wait for about 5 minutes for Wingstop's order. And you know, I sometimes get worried when the food will get like cold. It just worries me. So just bring your hot bag out. I have a family member who has done this before but doesn't do it anymore and gave me a hot bag. I had one before, but mine, I remember, like, it didn't have the insulated stuff inside, and there's a plastic to keep the food like standing. So there goes this one. And then actually, because I didn't know they had it, I should have waited a little bit, but I placed an order for a pizza bag, and I also threw an order in for one of these. So I think I'll just buy it and just take it off taxes. Like, you could write it on your taxes that it's the supplies for your work that you bought these thermal stuff. And it's useful, I guess, because I was thinking if you have more than one order, you just bring this in, put one of your order in there, and then just sit and wait for the other order. So it keeps the food from the first place you got your food from warm while you wait for the other one in cases like that. And then I picked up milk tea right now. It was $6 for like 2 miles, but it was just like right here. It's 2 miles because I was like a little bit further away from the restaurant, but the milk tea place from the customer's house is really close. And along the way, I saw like fire trucks and a lot of sirens. There's a big fire going on. Some of my friends hear about like, oh, you have to sit in the car and like actually wait for orders. Like, the most I have waited, like, there has been times when it's like been like almost an hour, but lately it's like, you know, not more than 30 minutes. And then, you know, so at first I said that it wasn't looking very good because I drove 17 miles and I only made $15, right? So now I guess it's looking more better. I'm at $34.75 and driven around 25.5 miles. And so I use Stride to track my miles, not sponsored or anything. And then it tells me what my tax deduction is. I think it's around 64 cents per mile you get for business mileage. And I believe, and not believe, but I'm pretty certain that if you drive back to your location of business to wait for the next business, like waiting for orders, that you can account for, like you can count that as the mileage you use for working for the day and everything. So on this mileage tracker is saying that, for example, I made $34.75, and all this 25.51 miles is equivalent to a tax deduction of $16.71. So I can deduct $16.71 off my $34.75. But I do have license as an enrolled agent, so I am qualified to do taxes for people. So you can contact me to do your taxes if you would like during tax season. I do not do consulting right now, and I can also represent people during audits, but I just pretty much accept or do taxes only right now. So W-2, 1099s, and everything like that. If you want to do your tax, you can actually contact me. I don't have a storefront, or you can shoot me an email at jom@wealthyandwisetax.com for like inquiries or some questions. Like, shoot me a question if you want about taxes that if I can't answer, I will surely answer. I have only done a first year of taxes, and I am trying to gain more cash, and so that is why we are pumping out DoorDash and Uber Eats contents. I think I'm gonna go back to the area where there will be more orders, and then I'll update you what and how much we will be making today. DoorDash challenge, accepting every order. Okay, so I just did 2 more drop off after that. So I went to pick up Jamba Juice. It was $6 for about 2 miles. Just to let you know, even though I have a license in like tax profession, I am not giving you like tax advice or financial advice. It's just like mainly on my experience, and you can kind of like use it to like decide whether you want to use the same idea. But hopefully it's like kind of helpful. Like, I just got it like the beginning of last year, my tax license. So I will tell you about how that is going with my plan in life, and that is why figuring things out and also trying to make more like income with a channel, and also doing delivery on the food delivery platform. So the Jamba Juice was $6.75, 2.9 miles, easy drop off, house easy to find. Next one I picked for Shop and Pay. It was $14.75. It says 4 miles to deliver the items, but it was picking up more things from 7-Eleven from them. Like, it was pizza and some chips, and a Shop and Pay at Petco to get like dog food. Fortunately, it was a quick for me to be able to find those stuff, because I don't have any pets, so I'm not very good at finding dog food or cat food or dog pampers or whatever. So I had to find like some disposable thing. I think it was a dog diaper or something. This is very good idea if you have to go to Petco or somewhere to Shop and Pay and you're not good at finding the things that you have to find for Shop and Pay orders. Just locate a staff. Like, at least they'll tell you the aisles, and then you can scan for the things you're looking for, or at least that will help you get an item out of the way or something. So I dropped that off, and this person's house was like, it was an apartment where the location of the map told me to stop somewhere, but it wasn't it. It told me it was like on the right side, and it was like some church. And then so I was like, where is this place? Because it's like, it says it's an apartment, but where I stopped, where the map told me to stop, were all houses. But I remember I dropped off something from Petco before around there. It tells me to stop at somewhere on the right side, and it was like a church, and I see no apartment. But really, the apartment was on the left side, and it was like this gray building. I was looking for a location. It was like 1455. In the front it says 1435, and then it's an apartment where you have to go in, and then all the buildings are separate numbers, but you don't see it on the street. Like, you'll have to park and actually walk in, and then each has its own building and then the unit numbers. So I told them I couldn't find it, can you come out? But then they were like, oh, it's like the gray building, so they just want me to still come and leave it at the door like they specifically said. Once I got there, they opened the door, and their dog also jumped out, and I was almost like bitten by a dog. They called the dog, and it just sniffed me, but that was crazy. I was just wondering, like, what happens if you go deliver food and then you get like bitten by a dog or something, I guess you'll have to depend on your own insurance and stuff, because this is contract work. So guess we have time now to kind of like talk about what I was saying earlier, how I was watching some videos. I think it's the channel The Rideshare Guy or something. It's good information, and a lot of people doing this are probably seeing and watching a lot of channels and thinking like, are they making the right choice in life? Are they wasting time? Are they losing more than they are gaining? And what is the actual cost of delivering food with Uber Eats and DoorDash? Is it all worth it? So let's see. As of now, I started at 1, so 1:09 p.m. It's 5:59 p.m. right now, so maybe like about 5 hours. It's 5 hours right now that I have been delivering, but I did spend a lot of time on that other order, so Shop and Pay. I found the items really quick, but then there was this freeway where sometimes the map like is not like, you look at it like where you're supposed to turn, and it looks like you have to make a turn here, but it's actually, you know, a little like 300 more feet. So you know the freeway where there's like 2 exits. So when I make the wrong one, I'm actually going in circles to go to 7-Eleven to pick up another item. But so the 5th hour, it's like 5 hours right now, ever since I came into my car and came to a spot to find orders at this plaza with lots of restaurants, grabbed sandwich, grabbed Subway. Once I turned on, an item like came right away, like that first one where I went like around almost 9 miles for like $15, and the customer texted me like, I'll text you extra because I chose the wrong location, that's why you had to drive far, I'm so sorry about that. Added another $2, so I think base pay was $15 total, but the tips alone was $5.50. And so the base pay was $9.50, tips was $5.50 on that first order. As I mentioned, that wasn't a good order because I turned on my mileage tracker, and that first order I was driving 17 miles and only I got $15. When I mean driving, like, you know, they tell you only to pick up the order to the customer's house. How much miles is that? But also you'll have to come back or to an area where you get an order again, because if you park in front of the customer's house for DoorDash, like, that's not the area where I have a schedule to find orders. So I had to drive back around another like 15 or 19 or 20 minutes. So in total, that's why I was saying it would mean 17 miles for $15, that first order specifically. And then so now I'm at $74.85, already 5 hours of doing it. So doing this delivery for today on a Sunday, accepting every order challenge. As I have mentioned earlier, when I was watching this channel, The Rideshare Guy, like, he mentioned things like, how much really are you getting? For example, like a $10 offer, but at 3 miles, like, that is like something people say it's like a good offer to get. Only 3 miles, $10, but really, how much is, like, are you pocketing $10? So as I have mentioned earlier, it's just like a realization that there are costs to it more than what you think you're pocketing, but it's not saying to like stop doing it, or it's not all worth it, or at least it's helping you with something now rather than not having anything at all. Like, are you, like, for example, tomorrow you don't have anything to eat, to pay bills, are you going to worry about the miles or the gas or the wear and tear? Of course, you're gonna find anything you can so you can pay for tomorrow rather than worry about all that. But I got another order for PetSmart again, $19.25. Oh my gosh, okay. For 3.7 miles, I might do it. It takes a lot, but it's $19 and it was just 3.7 miles. So I'll just go ahead and do that. So as I have, okay, how I gotta head to this Petco. It's probably the same Petco I went before, because I'm in the same exact plaza before I head out and handed that customer that order, and I came back here. So what I was saying is that some people who has more like skills and stuff, like, for, as I mentioned, okay, I have like a tax license, but I didn't want to go corporate. I didn't want to be there somewhere working on conditions and terms. I am reconsidering like life, and I'm thinking it over. Like, should I? I'm thinking about like applying for like H&R Block and stuff. But it's waking up at noon and living the life that I want, and just like quitting whenever I want without consequences. Like, what is like better for my mind and all that? Like, I still don't know, but I will make another video like how, like, I don't know how much gas I've spent on this actually, but I'll like let you in on like how much I've earned like lately, or for ever since I started this delivering food delivery for a month and a half. So this rideshare guy was saying that he did it like, if there were situations where you are depending on this full time and suddenly you do not have your car to drive and you didn't save the money for it, and so that is something to account for, and something like that is possible. So that's why you need to get the numbers of when you do your taxes correctly, how much mileage, how much you spent, how much gas you paid. But then there's actual costs and mileage. So if you're gonna do mileage, then you can't do the actual cost where you said you do all the, the oil change, and that's either or. But so that's just something to think about. Like, for example, one day you have to buy a whole new car. So where are you gonna get that like money from if you didn't think, like, in certain cases you probably have to think of like, where that could happen. So $10 for 3 miles, really, like, minus like for the gas and for federal taxes in some states, state taxes, you might be only pocketing like $7 from what you think you took home, $10 pretty much. I gotta go to this PetSmart, and I'll update you after I finish this delivery. Okay guys, so I am finished for the day. So it is now 8 and my dashing ends at 8. So after I told you I got the Petco order again, it was around $19-ish, and that was a really good one. So I went and did that. So, and luckily I went in and I just asked them like, where are these things, and they told me the aisle, and luckily I could like spot them right away. So that was really quick, and it was one of the high paying order. So if you have like over 50% of acceptance rate, meaning you don't decline too much orders, then they have this thing where it's like a high priority. When one of a high order comes in like that, then you have the opportunity to receive that kind of order first. And even though I did get quite a bit of like good orders, but yeah, so that one was $19.25, 3.7 miles, and only to get the Petco shop and pay and drop it off to the customer. I didn't have to pick up another order like the other person, where I thought that one took some time because I also made this wrong freeway turn or whatever, and the apartment was also hard to find. So I think something like that, when you use a lot of time in your day and your shift, then you lose the opportunity to get like something more. So today in total I made $119 for this dashing session, $119.85. So after I did that Petco thing, then I got an order to go to Chipotle. Let me go through what I got. So I went to the Chipotle for $6.75, 2.7 miles, and I dropped that off. It was a house. Houses are great. Sometimes it's very, like this one apartment I went earlier, but it was so weird. Like I mentioned, like there was this one guy who ordered like rabbit hay or rabbit food or whatever, and then it was the exact same building, and they also ordered something from Petco, and that time I couldn't find his building too because the map was telling me to stop somewhere like in front of this church, but the actual apartment was like on the other side and like inside like some buildings with its own numbers. You gotta go in and it's like a maze. It's like, which one is this? Each building's like 1485, then it's like 1435, but you gotta like, I hate those like buildings where you have to like kind of navigate, and the map wasn't even telling me the correct one. So after that Chipotle, I also went to McDonald's to pick up an order that was $8.75, 2.7 miles. And then I also picked up another Chipotle for $7, 4.1 miles. It's an accept every order challenge, so we're accepting every order. So once it was almost 8, which is the end of the dash, I got one that was not a good high paying one. $3.25, 1.6 miles. I took it because I didn't know, because by 8 when it's the end of your shift, so your dashing is over. So if it's not a busy area, then you cannot dash now. Like, see, it's just like now it's done with the dash, so there shouldn't be any more orders coming in. But then that concludes it. Let me know if you think it's worth it. I got $119.85, and my mileage tracker was on. I drove 84.95 miles today, and my tax deductible from all the mileage I drove today is $55.64. I never drove that much before ever delivering. Like, I thought it would be like 50 miles per day. So 84.95 miles is like dropping off food to customer, picking them up, and routing back to the location where I think I'll be getting more orders. So it is exactly 7 hours that I was dashing today. So we can divide that. Divide by 7, so like $17 an hour. 119 divided by 7, yeah, like $17.12. You can pretty much, like, on the lucky areas with good tips and everything, you can, a lot of people say they make about $20 an hour doing this. But for my area, which I'm not in a like a good tippy area, you know, like this one, I think they didn't tip at all, like Wingstop, and I still took it because it's almost the end of my shift. And that concludes it. Also, I just got stung by a bee. I'll show you a picture. I dropped the Chipotle with the $7 offer for 4 miles, and I'm like, something is sticky on my hand, and I don't know what it was. So I just threw it out the window. Then I looked at the window, it's like, oh my god, that's a bee. And I didn't even know I got stung until I put sanitizer, and then my finger burned, and that is when I knew I got stung by a bee. Oh my goodness. And also, I came back to the area where I was going to pick up more food, and then I looked at the location where there was a fire earlier today, and it seems like they were still clearing out things, and it was a bad burning fire. It was a bad fire. And then it was around, at first I thought it was like an area near like a Target, like a plaza with all the restaurants, but it seems to be an apartment building actually. So that seems pretty bad. I'll probably search the news like what happened. But so pretty much that's it, you guys. That's all I have for today. Let me know, like, update me how much you guys make in your area, if you think it's worth it, like, and what you think about this, if it's worth it. For a Sunday, I think the most, like last Sunday, I made around 125. So yeah, it's a Sunday, and sometimes I usually get over 100 on weekends, but that's about it, you guys. And then I'll see you on the next update on the food delivery journey. Thank you. Please like and subscribe if you like the channel and the content. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys on the next video.